But I had an idea to invite Christine over to our community, just because we're getting cows and plows, and people are going to have large amounts of money, and some people might want to use that for traveling. I know we are. We're going to be putting, I'm going to be putting some money aside for Meadow and I to travel, her dad probably too. So I thought there's a group of us that chat amongst ourselves about travel, but we have been getting a lot of questions from other band members asking like how we do it or who do we talk to. So I just thought, well, why don't we invite somebody here to give us that information, to share information with us. And the reason why I chose Christine is because I trust her. And I've worked with a lot of other travel agents and companies before, and I didn't have great experiences working with some. Of course, I tried to go Indigenous first because that's where I want my money to go first, but I didn't have a good experience there. And it wasn't a bad experience, but when you're planning travel, to me, you want somebody that you can trust because your family is going somewhere that you don't know, right? And you want to know that you're going to a safe place. You want to know that you're talking to somebody that knows what they're talking about and possibly have been there or has experience. So like I said, I talked to a few and I wasn't getting responses. People weren't getting back to me in a timely manner. You know, sometimes when you're trying to book something, it's time sensitive as well. So as soon as I got into contact with Christine, she was answered me right away, or else if she was busy, she let me know that she, I'm doing something right now. I'll get back to you. You know, she was really good at communication. And when she did book our family vacations, she took really good care of us, really, really good care of us. In my opinion, she went above and beyond. We felt totally safe. She was always there for us even when we're on our trip, if we had to call her, she was there. If we wanted excursions booked, she booked those for us. So I trust her a lot, and I wouldn't bring just anybody to our community that you can't trust, or that, in my experience, or if I didn't have a good experience with them. So I thought I want to bring, in my opinion, the best to our community. So that's why I brought Christine over. So I'm gonna just leave it at that and let her introduce herself. But Derek, is there anything that you'd want to say before we move?
No, I think it's all good. I think it's a good idea to bring someone who has a lot of experience, helping families book trips, because you're right. When you're away from home, there's a lot of things you don't know. You're sometimes in a different culture, and sometimes different cultures, might do things that we're not familiar with, or there might be scenarios or situations you're in that you're not comfortable with at times, even. So it's good to have someone, if you're going to book trips, that's familiar and can help you, have a good time. It's exciting, when you go on a trip, and it's important to have, that person there that's professional and that's looking out for your best interests, whether that be your best rates on your flight, proper accommodations when you get there, good food, even insurance, even making recommendations on, if you should take a medication before you go, or if you should get your boosters done before you go, that kind of stuff. That's all important when you're traveling.
Yeah.
And I've been around the world now, so I know, and I've gotten sick at places, so I know.
Yeah. Good. All right. So that's it. That's it for you?
Yeah.
Okay, we're just going to sit back and listen now, and then we'll let Christine take over.
Perfect. Thank you, Crystal. I appreciate the kind words. When I met Crystal, it was an instant connection, I think, and it's almost like I felt like I know you guys and your family. Booked a few trips for you already. So I think Cuba, Mexico, Jamaica.
Yeah.
So it was good. Okay, I'm nervous, very, very nervous. I don't do stuff like this very often. I was very, very excited when Crystal had here and speak to you guys. Everyone deserves to travel. Everyone should, with the resources and everything, should travel. It's a way to experience life. It's a way to experience our world, different cultures. It's pretty good. So first thing I want to start with is I want to acknowledge that we are on, or in the Pine Creek First Nation, we are on Treaty 4 territory. I come with respect for your land and for your people that reside here and that have in the past and in the future. I would like to say miigwech to the chief, to council, and to the community of Pine Creek First Nations for allowing me to come in here and to speak about my love of travel. I hope to answer all the questions that I can for you guys. And yeah, so we'll get started. Okay, so what is travel? Such a basic, what is travel? Do we ever think, do we even think what is travel? Okay, travel is defined as, sorry, I have like books everywhere and everything. Like I said, this is my first time doing this. It's the movement of people, whether it be by foot, bicycle, plane, train. It's just basically going from one area to another. Why do we travel? Now, this is the most important thing. Why do we travel? We travel to connect ourselves to other people, to other cultures. We travel for excitement, to learn new things. We travel to escape the cold. I know it gets fairly cold up here in northern Manitoba. So yeah, definitely a week away to a nice tropical place is ideal. Personal growth, self-discovery. You don't know what you're capable of until you try something different. When you get on that plane and you're going to a different country, it's out of your norm. It's not what you're used to. So that's awesome, being able to do that. It reduces stress. It improves mental clarity, mental health, everything like that. When you come back from a trip, it's like a reset has been hit. You feel exhilarated. You feel renewed. It helps with problem-solving skills. So there's a lot of things that could go wrong, potentially, in an airport especially. If you don't have your things packed properly in your carry-on, that could be an issue. They're going to want to go through your bags. So you're going to have to learn how to do that, right? And how to have them go through your stuff and everything. You have to think sharp is basically what it is. It increases your knowledge of the world. So, if you never leave your community or your country, you don't know what's out there. There's other cultures, there's other food, there's other people to share experiences with. It changes your perspective on a lot of things. Personally, I travel. I'm absolutely addicted to travel. From a young age, I was. But I'm going to introduce I totally skipped past the introductions. I'm going to give you a little bit of background about myself. I'm really nervous. So,
don't be nervous, you're fine.
Thank you. My name is Christine Drotar. I am from Saskatchewan. I live in a small community, I guess would be south of Yorkton, Saskatchewan, if you guys have ever heard of it. I have a husband and I have 2 children, 23-year-old son named Drew and a 14-year-old daughter named Juliana, who are as addicted to travel as I am, have come with me everywhere that I've gone. I have been a travel agent officially since 2017. Before that, I had worked under another agent, kind of learning the ropes. I have traveled since I've been 21. First trip I ever took was to Vegas. Changed my look on things, and I was going into school to be a nurse before I went to Vegas. The minute I hopped on that plane and came back here, I automatically switched what I was going to do. No longer going to be a nurse, was either going to be a flight attendant or a travel agent. That was when I was 21. I'm now 40-some, we'll just say 40-some, and actually am living my dream now. So it took a while, but I did get here. I absolutely love what I do. I love being able to connect people to different parts of the world. I love hearing about their experiences. What else can I say? I wanted to focus on a few things here. How many of you guys have traveled here? like, or have traveled, yeah, passports and everything. Yeah, and some of you haven't, in the process of getting passports. Yeah. So, yeah, I would, if you have any questions on passports and everything, I do have some passports here. I have child's passports and adult passports. If you wanted to look at them, wanted to take any of them home with you, that's perfectly fine.
I can also guarantee any passports for anybody, I think.
Okay.
So,
Were you working with Service Canada on having someone come up here to the van to
No.
do the passports?
But if anybody filled out an application, then I think I can sign.
I think the guarantor requirements are not as strict as they used to be, right?
Yes.
So before you did need a chief or somebody
You
with a
did.
doctorate degree or something like that to be a
You don't
guarantor.
anymore.
No.
You
You
know,
know, you just need somebody with a passport.
That has a passport.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
But I believe
Okay, so that's not really.
Felicia is looking at getting people to come.
Okay.
So, and I'm not sure if the passport people were part of it, because I know she was also getting, like for birth certificates, they were gonna set up a date for that, so maybe we can ask her about.
Service Canada to come,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, is that what I,
And they were gonna also get somebody from this to come and help with Joni.
okay. Yeah, Service Canada, because you can go right to Dauphin at the Service Canada there, and that's where I took my passport application. And then they'll help you too, like if you don't know what's going on or what, if you have questions about the whole application process, they'll just guide you through it. And then they'll make sure that your whole application is done right, and then they submit it right there.
Yeah, highly recommend Service Canada. They
Yeah,
are very, very helpful with helping passport everything gets filled out properly when they send it in. So you don't have to resubmit anything or go back.
Yeah.
They're very thorough. So highly recommend if you haven't, or if you need a passport renewal, don't wait till your passport expires. Renew it before it expires and take it into Service Canada. Because if you do let it expire and you do go to renew it, they're gonna make you get a new passport. So
Is it still a rule that you're not supposed to travel like within your passport is
it is.
going to be up for renewal like within the 5 months or?
Each country is different. So there are certain countries that will allow, like it's 6 months usually is the rule of thumb. There are countries that will allow, but it's good to just go with the rule of thumb within 6 months because, you might get confused. Where like say Cuba might not need that, 6 months validity, but, Mexico would. So, you don't want to get confused or have, go into a country where you will need that. So like, for example, we're traveling in November, my husband and my daughter's passport expires in February. So since it is, under the 6 months, we are going to go in before, just to be sure and careful that it is renewed. So passports are your gateway to the world. In order to get on an airplane and go anywhere, you will need a passport. So very important. Okay, so there are different types of travel. Yeah.
One more question.
For
about
sure.
The passports.
Yeah.
Can you fly to Mexico without a passport?
No, you definitely need a passport.
Did that change?
No, you always needed a
You
passport.
always need a passport?
Yeah, you can use your status card to go across land borders to the United States. There are certain, I think there have been issues, and I think they're trying to correct it with making it accessible for all land borders. I think right now there are only a few that you can use your status card, but it's supposed to be all land borders crossing into the United States. So, yeah, you do need a passport though to fly into the States. Yeah. So travel, there are so many different types of travel. I always recommend if you're new to traveling, if you're just getting your passport, you're just brand new, gonna hop on a plane, I personally recommend an all-inclusive trip. It is the best way to experience travel for a new traveler. Everything is included in an all-inclusive trip. So you show up at the airport, you check in, you get on the plane, you have someone pick you up when you arrive at destination, they take you to your resort. When you get to your resort, your food's included, your drinks are included. It's basically, you just show up and you're included from the resort back to the hotel or back to the airport, and then you arrive at home. It is it is the best way for a new traveler to travel. I had never traveled, and when I went to Cancun in 2006, you would, not knowing where to go or what to do or who to look for, you kind of panic a little bit. But when you know what to expect, when you know that those people are going to be there waiting for you, it's a relief. You know that you can go to your resort, you're going to have everything taken care of, you're going to have your drink, you're going to have your food. Whereas say if you were going by yourself to say Europe, well, you get to the airport and it's pandemonium, it's panic, there's people everywhere speaking different languages, and you're trying to find a taxi and then you're trying to get to your hotel. I recommend that kind of travel for the more experienced traveler. New travelers, I always say the best way to dip your foot into the water is to do an all-inclusive. Gets you used to being in an airport, gets you used to being around other people, other cultures, gets you used to just travel in general. And it is the easiest and least expensive form of going and doing something. If you tried to break down what a trip would cost individually for everything, if you were to go on your own without doing an all-inclusive, prices ended up being way, way more than what you would pay for an all-inclusive. So they are a great option for a new traveler. Highly recommend them. There are a few options here in Manitoba. WestJet does have direct flights. Sunwing does have direct flights. Air Canada does have direct flights still, though not many. So there are lots of options out of Winnipeg for sure. Another form of traveling is, of course, your cruising. So I love cruises. The thought of being on a big ship, which is basically like a huge traveling resort, going from destination to destination. So you have a home port where that's where you're going to get onto the ship. And then you're on there. You wake up in a new spot every day. So if you're not sure about Mexico, you're not sure about Jamaica, you're not sure about, say, Dominican Republic, you can hop on a cruise ship for a week and you can experience a little bit of each of those destinations in that cruise ship. Not only are your food, your drink, and everything, your accommodations covered on the cruise ship, your entertainment, it's just, you can leave that cruise ship and go explore these islands. Which if you did say an all-inclusive where you did all these, you'd have to do a separate trip to all of those places. So a cruise ship is ideal if you want to kind of see what's out there, more than just one destination. You want to check out multiple places and then maybe make a decision when you want to go back to one of those spots. Cruising, there are a couple different things with cruising that you don't see, small print, of course. Your alcoholic beverages are not included on a cruise ship, and your pop. So in order to have those, you have to buy a package that would basically give you that. Coffee, tea, water, and all of your food, your buffet foods and everything are included on the cruise. Just your specialty stuff, of course, is extra. A lot of people, get that sticker shock when they do go to look at a cruise because that initial price that they're seeing isn't exactly what they're going to end up paying in the end. So,
which is usually like a drink package.
Drink packages, depending on the cruise line, if they're offering certain packages, can range from $300 to $400 a person. Most drink packages come, if you do buy it in a package type thing, they'll include your Wi-Fi. They'll also include maybe some shore excursion credit, and of course your drinks.
Okay.
Yeah, and of course your airfare is not covered with a cruise, so that is also another expense above and beyond the cruise. So you have to keep that in mind too when you're looking at cruises. With the all-inclusive, your airfare is included in that price. So that's what makes it such a great trip. Another thing is escorted tours. There is a few that do North American tours into the States. A lot of the escorted tours, of course, are Europe-based, whether they be Ireland, Scotland, into Portugal, Spain, Italy, you name it. Like Italy it's an open book basically. You can cruise. There are no all-inclusives in Europe. It's basically just hotel accommodation and all that kind of stuff. If you're going with an escorted tour, you can expect transfers to be included. You can expect hotels to be included. You can expect your breakfasts to be included, and your transportation in that country is all included. Some of them also offer some of your excursions, whereas some of them don't. You have that time to go explore on your own. So there are different options, of course, with group tours. There's so many different companies. I did bring some brochures with some of the better companies. So when I'm done, you guys can browse, take a look at what you'd like and all that. Solo travel, there is a good market for solo travel. So if you find yourself wanting to go somewhere and you can't find anyone to go with you, there are group tours, escorted group tours, just for the solo traveler. So you are taken care of. Safety is a big concern for solo traveling. Don't have to worry with the solo traveling groups. You're well taken care of. There is group travel too, family group travel. Sunwing offers actually the best options for the group travel to all-inclusive destinations. WestJet has limited resorts that they offer, so they're not as great, but the Sunwing group packages are pretty good. You have a group of 10 adults, it's classified as a group. You'll get special rates, you'll get private transportation, you'll get your seats on the airplane, you'll get credit for excursions in destination. So yeah, Sunwing Groups is probably the best package out, like the best thing out there for in terms of group packages. Cruises, we can do group packages, has to be 10 adults, usually 5 cabins classified as a group. Tours too, you can do groups. You guys have enough people together that say decide to do something like want to go to Europe for a week or so, get a group together. Packages are way better that way. And then that way, you can travel together and it's all good. It's always better traveling in a group. You have more fun. You share experiences with the people, memories, making memories. Like I was looking at Crystal's photographs the other day of her Jamaica trip. Like what a great trip that looked like. Like who gets, the opportunity to travel with family and friends is absolutely, it's incredible. You look back at pictures and yeah, it's priceless. It really is.
What were you saying for group? Sorry, I was just reading a message here. I think I missed it, but for group travel for all inclusive is what, 10?
10 adults, yeah. 10
Okay.
adults, usually 5 rooms is what would classify as a group. Sunwing, like I said, has the best group packages by far. What else?
There's a couple of questions online here about cruises.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna open it up. Like, this is like I didn't want to take too much information and put it at you guys. Like, I just wanted to delve on the stuff that is the most popular, the easiest for new travelers, and go from there. If you guys have any questions though, definitely, yeah, questions?
I'm just wondering about do you need to take a needle every 5 years that when you go out?
They do ask for, like, the vaccinations are, they do say you can take, you don't have to. It's not a mandatory thing. It depends on the country that you're going to also. Yeah, like if you're going to a country where, say, you're scared that you might catch a bug, like I know Dominican, they always say that Dukerol, there's a Dukerol shot you can take before. It's for traveler's diarrhea and for basically the stomach flu. So if you do get affected by that, it's not mandatory. It's completely up to you. So whether you would want to do that is your choice.
Yeah, it could be the first time I went, but I never did again
No.
after.
No, and you don't have to. If you think it helped you, or if it did help you, yeah, by all means, I would do it again. But if you, it's completely up to you.
What about Airbnbs? Do you do anything with that?
I do not. I tend to stay away from VRBO and Airbnbs
Yeah.
just because it's more of a private contract between you and that owner of that place. There's so many things that can happen that are outside of the agent's control. So that's just one reason why I don't look at that. My company that I work for, Trevello, based out of Winnipeg, we are provided suppliers. So we use those suppliers, or else we can go out and look for our own suppliers. The suppliers that we have don't really, they tend to stay out of those types of accommodations just because, you could show up and it's not necessarily what you were expecting. And there, in a lot of cases, people have showed up too and the place is already booked. And that's another thing, right? And then they're left to to find their own accommodation once they've already paid for that accommodation, so,
That's kind of why I kind of shy away from,
yeah.
because I don't want to be surprised.
Well, and I've heard good stories, I've heard bad
Yeah.
stories, so.
I've heard a lot good stories.
Yeah.
Like people from going into Mexico, they've all had good experiences. But it'll say, just me, probably find a problem.
You never know. And Mexico, you have to be careful. Like every country is going to be different, right? In the Mayan Riviera, of course, there's cartels. There's a lot of cartel activity. So a lot of the things that are owned in that side of the country are cartel owned. So you really, like going outside the resort, especially in that area, is kind of, you can go outside the resort, but staying outside the resort would not probably be something that I would recommend. Excursions and everything are great in Mexico, like Mayan Riviera. There's so many things to do. It's such a great area, but yeah, definitely staying on your own without having that security that, you know, an all-inclusive provides for you would definitely make me a little leery. With that being said, Puerto Vallarta, one of my favorite places in Mexico, is completely opposite of Cancun. Not saying you can just be relaxed or whatever, but it's not as scary.
Yeah.
There's not as many people. The people in
You don't
Puerto.
see them walking around with guns.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Like they do on the others.
Yeah, it's more of a city type environment over in the Cancun area, where Puerto Vallarta is so much more relaxed. And has anyone been to Puerto Vallarta? Yeah, it's my favorite. Yeah. It's just a different atmosphere altogether. Like Cancun, I loved it. I've spent so much time in the Mayan Riviera. I've spent a couple months, you know, in the last 10 years in that area. And I always assumed that was where that my heart belonged. It was in that area. Like I absolutely loved it until I went to Puerto Vallarta. And then it was like, okay, this is something completely different. People are much nicer. You don't feel like you're being taken advantage of all the time. They're not asking you for money, like a tip or something, you know, like Puerto Vallarta, people are caring. They're actually genuinely caring, where you don't feel like you're being, I don't know, it's a different feeling. Yeah, I highly recommend Puerto Vallarta. We stayed up or down south in Miss Maloya, which is kind of in the mountains and in the forest.
There's a lady I follow that lives in one of the RV parks there.
Oh,
She goes there all 6 months.
yes, there's actually so many that actually go down there for the winter to an RV park, and that's my dream. Actually, my retirement dream is to go into that area.
And she even does, like, in that park that they're in, she kind of is the spokesperson of the park. So whenever there's somebody that's selling their trailer, because it's an RV park, so they usually sell the trailer, the palapa, and the outdoor whatever.
Yeah, furniture, yeah.
Yeah, and she'll go in and do a video of everything, and she'll tell you what their cost is and how much.
She's like the RV real estate agent. Awesome.
It's like 65,000 US, you know,
Yeah.
you're gonna go.
Yeah, and some of these RV parks are right on the water, like up in Bucharest. It's like a laid back kind of surfer town type area, and they have a lot of that type of camping, and that's where people come down from Canada in their RVs, and for 6 months they live in that little camper, and you know, their neighbors are right there, and it's amazing. I would absolutely to wake up every morning with that the sun, and definitely a dream to aspire to. But.
There's a question here. What's the benefits of booking travel through a travel agent rather than on your own?
Okay, that's a good question. When you book through a travel agent, you're like sorry. I take a lot of pride in what I do, and when my clients leave this country, I want them to know that they're not forgotten about, that I am thinking about them all the time. If anything is to happen, anything, they call me, and I do what I can at that point, at that second, to take care of what they need. When you book through WestJet or Sunwing, you are going to call a 1-800 number. You're going to wait online, and these people they're your number to them. That's all you are. Whereas when you book through an agent, it's an actual person that's focused on you and your family. It's easier to get things done through a travel agent than it is to book directly through the company. The travel agent goes above and beyond. Any questions you have, like Crystal knows, you can message anytime, and a good travel agent will answer you back right away. Whereas with Sunwing, WestJet, you have to wait till their office is open. Things don't get done very fast with the companies. Like I said, you're a number to them. Whereas when you book through a travel agent, it becomes personal.
Yeah, and I have personal experience with that. Like we've booked trips, like we go on an annual family trip every year. So there's usually about 8 to 11 of us. I think the least amount we had was about 8 or 7 or 8.
I think.
But so we did that before, and I had to do it all on my own, and it was such a big headache because first of all, I'm not an expert in that area, so it took a lot, and I was so stressed out at the end. I was just like, I don't ever want to do this again, because to organize 8 to 10 people or plus, it's just a big, because I don't do it all the time. So it took me forever to do it. And I think it was one time in Vegas where we had some issues. Then I had to call the airline myself, and I couldn't get through to them. And I found out really quick there, because they asked you right away, WestJet, did you book through a travel agent? That's one of the first things they ask you, because, right? Because, and then of course I didn't. So I basically just got the runaround, and it was frustrating. But, and then another time, I think just this last time we went to Mexico.
Yes.
Yeah. So we were all checking in at WestJet in Winnipeg, and Christine booked our trip for when the kids were still 13 and 14.
Yeah.
But at the time when we traveled, they were going to be a year older, both of them,
Yes,
right?
they was,
So,
yeah.
but at the time she booked, they were a year younger. So when we went to go check in at WestJet, the person that checking us in knew that the kids were older, and one of them was 14 or 15 that should have been paying adult price already.
Oh.
So she's like, no, you can't check in. You have to, this Hayden should have been paying an adult price already. And we're like, we didn't know what to say, because.
Well, Crystal phoned me.
I phoned her.
Yeah,
So
it was, I think, 4:30 in the morning. Yeah, because,
4:30 in the morning, we
I'm,
were checking in, and she was available, like she had to take care of it. They wouldn't let us check in. They wouldn't let us do anything. And I even tried to phone WestJet myself, because it was so early in the morning. And I just thought, well, I'll try. And the first thing they said is, did you book through a travel agent? Even WestJet was like, talk to your travel agent.
see, I'm available 24/7.
Yeah.
Like I my clients come first. If I know that I have clients out of country, I will answer that phone. It doesn't matter where I am, what I'm doing, that phone gets answered. Yeah.
Even if there's at the resorts, if something's going on at the resort, like say you're at a resort that you maybe don't like. I never had that experience with Christine. She always puts us in the best resorts ever, but I've had friends that have gone to their resorts and they don't like them. And they get there, they don't like where they are, they don't feel safe, so then they change resorts. But if you had a travel agent, all you have to do is call your travel agent, say, we don't like it here, she would change you right away to wherever.
We had a bad experience when we went to New York. Danita tried to get a hold of our agent, and because now we're stranded for 3 nights. Well, first it was 1 night, then it went to 2 nights, and I said, Danita, just call another. We ended up in a totally JFK, I think we were supposed to go to LaGuardia or something. Anyways, Danita tried to call the travel agent, and then, well, who's gonna pay for these rooms if it's not our fault?
Yeah.
And she wouldn't even respond. So it's a good thing I had cash, so I was able to pay for 2 rooms for 3 nights.
Yeah.
Extra cash.
See, and that's a travel agent not to respond to a client that's in obvious need of help. That is, it never happens with me. I would never ever put my clients in that kind of situation.
Because that's a quick thought, what would have happened if we didn't have any money? If
For 3 days or so.
Yeah, that's basically, yeah. Yeah, no, booking with a travel agent takes the stress out of everything. Like Crystal said, like when you're booking 8 people, and you guys, when you went to Mexico, had so many excursions.
Yeah.
Like it was, and everything was organized. Like Crystal just told me what they wanted to do, when they wanted to do it, everything was done. They just basically had to show up. Communication with excursions, I did that on my end too, making sure that these guys knew when they were gonna get picked up. Making sure the guys that were doing the excursions knew where to get them, when to get them. You won't get that from Sunwing, you won't get that from WestJet. Unfortunately, their volumes are so high. And you know, that's kind of why you turn to a travel agent, is because you do want that personal experience. You do want someone to be, you know, concerned about you and your family, not have to wait for hours on hold. Like Crystal was saying, like WestJet has a consumer number and they have an agent number. So when I go to call WestJet, I get in right away. When Crystal goes to call WestJet, she'll probably sit on hold for quite a while. That's another reason. Who wants to sit on hold with WestJet, especially while they're on vacation or Sunwing? You just call your agent and your agent does it.
Plus, I feel safer too, knowing, because she has a copy of all my information. She has a copy of my passport, she has a copy of my credit card. What if my credit card or my passport went missing or whatever, I booked it through her. So what if I did have to go to some embassy because something happened, you know, then it would be much easier in those types of processes if you went through an agent.
Like, and even just looking outside of the all-inclusive, like going to say a different, you know, Europe or something like that, it's different languages, you know, and of course it's not the same as it is in Canada. United States is at least closer to where we are. We kind of are more relatable. But when you're in Europe, you know, it can be quite complicated. Some of these airports, and just the confusion of transfers and getting around, and that can be quite daunting. So, like I always say, experienced travelers should, you know, there should be that kind of travel. Like I have different companies here. Like there's Traveler and Insight, G Adventures, Colette, are all some really good tour companies in Europe that take care of you really good. I have RIT. There's Brendan Adventures. Like I said, really good tour companies. And I vet where I send my clients. I just don't send them anywhere. I don't just randomly pick a willy-nilly resort and say, here you go, enjoy. I go through every single resort option I send my clients, and I make sure, is this somewhere where I would go with my family? And if it's not, I go to the next resort. I'm very, very picky with the resort options I send. I try to stay in budgets. Like I know Crystal will give me a number and I'll say, okay, let's see what we can do to make that work. And we'll work with that number to find a decent resort that she would be comfortable with. Like I said, I don't just throw out, like, Cuba's really concerning right now, right? Cuba is suffering some severe economic shortages. Like they're really having a problem down there. It's a communist country. So there's embargo laws and rules with they're not allowed to trade with the States. They're not allowed to, so there's only so many countries that will bring things into Cuba. They're suffering right now. I had clients go to a grocery store and there's nothing on the shelves. There's rice, there's beans, that's it. You know, and then when you go to the resorts and, you know, all the foreigners that are coming in are expecting, you know, these huge buffet meals and everything to be perfect. Well, when the people are suffering in that country, you can't expect the resorts to be able to provide, you know, this exceptional service and food. They do try. There are certain resorts in Cuba that have gotten extra supplies in that are owned by Sunwing. But it's a tough situation in Cuba right now. There's only, I think, maybe 4 resorts that I would actually send people to out of hundreds in Cuba. There's 4 of them. So, and you don't want to stop tourism from going into that country because, you know, that's what their people rely on. Their people rely on us coming down there and spending money and tipping. And when we don't come, it affects them a lot. So we don't want to say, just don't go to Cuba, but I want to make sure that you guys are going to the places that you should be going. You don't want to go to a resort for a week and have to worry about food and not having water or not having a flushing toilet or a shower. Like you're paying good money to go to these places. And to me, that's not a vacation. you know, you go on a vacation to relax and enjoy and eat more than you should and drink more than you should. You don't go to you know, search for food and everything else like that. It's a terrible situation, but Cuba is beautiful. The people are beautiful. The beaches are beautiful, and they are trying to do the best they can with what they got. So,
With Cuba too, I always say that you go there pretty much for the scenery and the beach and
Beach.
stuff. I don't really go there to have good food.
Yeah.
Because I know that already.
Cuba's all about the beach and the people. The people
Yeah.
are so
Yeah.
hospitable and
Yeah.
so beautiful. It's an amazing country that way. I wish they could figure something else out with the way they're running things, because their people are really suffering.
The last time we were there, that was just before COVID hit. I think we were there the week after they shut it down. But even going back there, like we went twice within that year, you just see the difference. You saw the difference already in the economy.
Yeah.
Like even in the people, like it was odd.
It's
I really
just,
love that place.
it's a beautiful country. The people, like last time I was in Cuba was, well, it's been a while, 2015, I want to say, but I made friendships on that trip that I still talk to the people today. They still want me to come back, but I no, until things change, especially on Cayo Santa Maria. Was one of the islands off of Cuba. I can't see myself going back at this point in time. Same with Cayo Coco. Cayo Coco is another kind of peninsula off of Cuba.
We went there.
Yeah, it's having some issues too with getting supplies in and everything. So Veradero is pretty much solid, is good. But like I said, 4 resorts.
Which 4?
Well, the Malia properties are good. The Malia properties seem to have an outside source for supplies. I'm not sure where they're getting their stuff from, but they do have a lot, which the other resorts don't. Royalton is a Sunwing owned brand or resort. So Sunwing will send in supplies with some of their flights. So Memories is another one. Depending on which one, there's 2 different Memories in. Yeah, and Crystal and family too did stay at one of the Memories. Grand Memories, I think it was.
Yeah.
That's what we stayed, is it? Around Memories, yeah.
Yeah. That's another one too, where they have a little bit more than some of the other resorts at this point. So even a couple of the 5-star ones like the Paradisus, and I don't think I would send anyone there at this point. Like like I said, I'm really picky. I don't want my clients going and having a bad time or getting sick or, you know, or having something happen safety wise. So I do vet my resorts.
So I want to just back up a bit. Okay, because like it could happen again. So when we got stranded in New York, well, I would say, I don't know, stranded, but like our flights got canceled. You as a, what's the word again I want to say?
Travel agent.
Okay, what would you have done for us?
Like as soon as that flight would
Because
have
we
been,
paid the insurance.
yeah, as soon as that flight would have been canceled, I would have been on the phone with WestJet.
Okay.
Trying to find either an earlier flight for you out or a next available flight. They only, like in a situation like that, is it weather related?
It was from Vancouver, I know the flights were canceled in that area.
So it was kind of a ripple effect, right?
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
just went right over.
So weather related, oh, thank you, Kristen. Weather related, they don't have to like book, they basically, unless it's something that it's their fault, they don't have to go above and beyond. Though something like in that situation, like I've had clients miss connections, and if I know that they're already gonna miss that connection, I'm already on the phone, making sure that when they get to say Calgary or to Winnipeg or to Toronto, they already are rescheduled on a different flight.
The other thing that happened to us was when we got to New York, we went to New York because that's where we were gonna fly out of. My darn wheel was broken on my suitcase and I was upset because I love that suitcase.
So when you get home, you file a claim.
And then she didn't even tell us that when we tried to get a worker, she wouldn't even, now after we left Chicago and we landed, Darina comes out, her wheel was gone.
Who are you flying with?
Well, we went to the States that time, we went to
Oh.
the States that time, so, yeah, we had very little help
Sounds
from her, so it was just like, I probably wouldn't bother with her again.
Yeah, no, a good travel agent should make sure that you are
Yes,
well taken care of.
absolutely.
And be proactive. If they know that, like, I know it's, I sound so boring that I just sit at home and track my clients' flights and vacations, but I actually do. So if I do have clients that I know are on connecting flights, I'm already making sure that everything's on time. And if I do see that there's that delay and they're gonna miss that connection, I'm proactive. I'm already on the phone making sure that we're switching something over, that you're gonna be on that next flight. So it's something any travel agent should do. I don't know whether I go that extra little bit. I don't know. I really want to make sure my clients are well taken care of. That's the main thing for me. And in my job, it's fulfilling when a client comes home and like Crystal has said, written that last little review you did for me. It was absolutely amazing. I read it to my daughter. I was bawling. I'm like, it's such, it makes you feel like you're doing something right. And that's the whole point of my job. That's what makes it so fulfilling is when she comes home, she messages me and says, thank you, Christine. Thank you for making my family's trip amazing. Thank you for taking care of us. That is what makes my job worthwhile.
So already I feel comfortable.
Well, it's good. I'm so happy.
You sold us.
I'm so happy.
Please leave your card.
No, I'm so happy with that. Because Crystal, when she first brought up this idea to me, she mentioned Zoom. And I just, it's such an impersonal way of doing things. Me personally, any opportunity where I can meet people in person, I will take that opportunity. A connection between people, face to face, is far greater than online or anything like that. So
it is.
Yeah.
I have a question here
Yes.
from Kevin Keeper. When making purchases at destinations on cruises, are there fees or taxes when returning?
Like when they're making purchases to bring home, or just making purchases in general on the cruise ship?
They're making purchases at destinations on cruises.
Can do that.
Because I think maybe because it's international water, is that?
I don't think so. You would just Customs and Immigration expect you to claim things, right? Like most people don't, unless they're buying a lot.
Because when you're on a cruise anyways, you're gonna probably be porting from, say, Florida or wherever the ports are, and then you have to fly there anyway.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna get on your plane back home, you're gonna have to fill out that.
Yeah, Customs and
That
Immigration.
customs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like on the actual cruise ship, you don't spend money on a cruise ship. Like you don't, on a cruise ship, there's no money exchanged. You get a wristband or a card. Everything gets put on that card or that room band, which in turn gets put on your room. So when you go to check out of a cruise, some people are shocked when they get their bill because they don't realize, some of the specialty coffees, maybe they had a cappuccino for lunch that wasn't included on their package, or their kids had some pop that wasn't included on the package, right? All of that gets put on your room bill. So when you go to check out, anything that has been above and beyond what you have paid for will go onto that room bill.
So when you're what do you call it, when you're on a cruise and then you go to a dock or then say you're going to Mexico and you're docking there for the day and you buy a bunch of stuff, then you bring it back on a cruise.
Yeah.
Now you're ready to go home. You're packing, I guess, when you're gonna fly home, you'd have to still declare that, I guess?
Depends on what you're purchasing. If they expect you to declare it, yeah, you should.
Because there's a certain amount you're allowed, right?
Yeah.
For a week.
Yeah.
Right, like if you're gone for a week, you're allowed a certain.
Most
amount.
people, like if you buy $100 worth of clothes, you buy some souvenirs, I can't remember what the exact amount is. You just put it under that and then you don't have any problems. It's when you go beyond their set number that they're going to start having issues. They're going to start looking into why you're bringing so much stuff back. Cash too is a big thing. They don't want you traveling with anything over, I think it's $10,000. So you do have to make sure, if you're going to the Vegas for the weekend and you don't feel like you want to take your credit card or your debit and you want to have a pocket full of cash, just make sure that you're not over 10. Because they'll,
That's what they always at the border.
Yeah, they always ask.
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
do you have anything maybe cash?
Yeah.
And I was like, I wish.
yeah, that would be nice, yeah.
I said, I'm not down when I'm babysitting all the time.
So they ask you that right on your declaration form too, like they'll, so I guess it's the same thing on a cruise, if you're gonna buy something while you're docking or visiting the places that you're visiting on a cruise, then when you're coming back home on the plane, you will have to fill out that
Yeah.
Yes,
declaration.
yeah.
And then they ask you if you have $10,000 or more, did you go over your allowed, that you're allowed to bring back? And I always put no. I
Yeah.
always put there no, like I haven't. And, yeah.
Yeah, they, like customs immigration, I've been searched, some of my family's been searched. It's just, it's just a random thing. Sometimes it's just a number that you fall in and that's what happens.
Where is that in Mexico when you walk in?
Oh,
It's
that's-
a red, you get a red,
Cancun and Puerto Vallarta, both have the red light, green light.
red light, green light, yeah, so if you get stuck with a red light, then they pull you off to the side.
Yeah, I've been twice in a row in Puerto Vallarta. I've gotten the red light, so that's always been interesting. But they're trying to do away with the vapes, right? They don't want vaping in the country, so they are finding people that do bring vapes in. They've been really sticky with cigarettes too, so you got to make sure that you're taking in no more than 200 cigarettes, and you're declaring that. Because if you don't declare your cigarettes, you can be fined if they do find that you do have cigarettes on you. So just, you just got to make sure that each country that you go to, you know the rules. I usually do send an email out when I do book a client. There's a C5 form to fill out for Jamaica. So everyone has to fill it out. Crystal, did. Cuba now, they're doing online forms. So before you go to Cuba, you would fill out the online form, get a QR code, show that upon arrival. Dominican is the same. They want one done for arrival and departure now. So they also expect the $20 US upon departure, whereas I don't think any other the countries expect that.
So in booking with your Christine, like she lets me know all of that, like I don't have to
Yeah.
figure that out. She tells me, she sends me all the links, all the forms, guides me through all the forms on how to fill them out and.
Yeah, try to make it as simple as possible. Because, it can get confusing. These are other countries and some of their requirements and everything are different than what we have here in Canada. So just anything to make life easier for my clients. That's my job. I've never had anyone unhappy yet. I've never had a situation where, I've had a client come back and be absolutely terribly miserable with me. So I must be doing something right. But
There's another question here. Why do different travel agencies have different prices for the same destinations? Do you try to give the best prices or are these set by your agency?
no, we don't set prices. When I have a booking engine where I go into for all inclusives, and that's what we all use. Another travel agent can't beat my price because we all have the same prices. She has ties to different suppliers. They might have different promotional things that she might be offering, but no, we have all the same set prices. The only difference is service fees. Some travel agents will charge service fees to book all inclusives. To basically even just look or talk to you, they'll charge a service fee. I don't charge service fees. I shouldn't say I don't charge service fees. I do charge service fees for airline bookings. Strictly airline bookings because those are the ones that are the most time consuming. If there are problems with an airline booking, those are the ones that I'm going to be sitting on the phone for hours. And basically, a person needs to be paid for their time that they do put into it. I do not charge service fees for all inclusives. I do not charge service fees for group bookings. I do not charge service fees for escorted tours. Airline bookings is basically air only is basically the only thing I will charge a service fee for. Everything else is what you see online is what you get through me.
And so how are you paid then?
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
I am paid on commission. So if I book, like say Sunwing, right? They pay me commission. It's commission based. Airlines offer me no commission. So that is why I have to make money for, like, I have to be compensated for my time. But yeah, anything else, like I said, I can offer you exact same prices as Sunwing. I can offer exact same prices as WestJet. Any of these companies that I have up here, I can do.
So you do Vegas too then?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Vegas.
That was one of the questions online too, is somebody's looking to go to Vegas. I guess that was the question. They wanted to know if you booked
Oh,
Vegas.
definitely Vegas, yeah. Yeah, WestJet has good packages to Vegas. They have direct flights running out of Winnipeg twice a week. So yeah, Vegas is very popular, especially it's gonna be pool season soon. I know everyone's like, oh, it's so hot down there. And it's like, yeah, it is, but there's like how many pools? Jump in a pool. Every building down the strip has air conditioner. Like you literally just have to jump in a building, like you'll be well taken care of. We were down there last year in July and it hit plus 51. Yeah, we drove through Death Valley. We actually went into Vegas, drove over to Los Angeles, and we drove up to San Francisco, drove up to Oregon to Seaside and Florence, and then we went through down to Crater Lake and came back in through Northern California back to Vegas. So yeah, we got to experience a lot. I've never been on a beach in July and wanted a winter jacket more in my life than in Oregon. Coldest beach I've ever been on in my life, in the middle of July. But Vegas, yeah, we went through Death Valley. It was plus 51 that day. And it wasn't that bad. Like up here we have, it's humid. Down there it's dry. Like it's so dry.
When we were at the Santa Monica Pier, we froze. Oh, it was cold there. Oh my God.
Yeah, I love Santa Monica Pier. That's one of my, LA is awesome. Yeah, no, it's that Pacific until you hit Mexico. It's cool. Like San Diego can be quite nice in the summer. Los Angeles hit and miss. San Francisco is freezing in the summer. Like I just can't understand. I'm like, how can it be so different? But I guess just different tides off the wind off the water, the way it hits it. It was cold. Like we went over the Golden Gate Bridge and I was bundled, like we were sitting on top of that little double-decker bus and I didn't even get the chance to enjoy it or anything. I was bundled in my little parka and hood up and everything. And so thankfully my daughter took pictures for me because, yeah. But yeah, is anything else?
I have another question about group travel.
Yeah.
It's always been kind of my goal, I guess, or dream, to get some type of group travel going in Pine Creek, where we can, I used to do this when I worked at Southeast Resource Development Council. We used to do a yearly trip and it was for staff, but anybody could go. All they had to do was pay, but within, if you worked at Southeast, they did payroll deductions for us, like to pay for the trip. And so I guess we knew way ahead of time when the trip was coming up, and the travel agent, we worked with the travel agent at that time, and the travel agent took care of everything, but we started getting payroll deductions. But I think what happened with that is that the agency did have to front some of the money, I guess, in order to, I don't know how that works for a group booking like that, like what the.
So group bookings, usually that sounds like a larger group.
Yeah.
I know with what I've done for group bookings, it's usually deposits reduced. So instead of the $250 deposit, it goes down to $150. And then you do have up until the time where you travel, or 45 days till before you travel to pay off the trip. So you can book it a year in advance, a year and a half in advance, and take that time to pay it off. I don't know how they would have arranged that exactly, but they don't need a big chunk of cash in order to do, just deposits is basically all you need to hold.
To hold it,
Yeah.
and people have a certain amount of time to pay it off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So 45 days before departure is usually final payment date.
So
Same
it's
with
cheaper the more people?
Some people think that's the case, not necessarily all the time. With Sunwing, sometimes we'll get back group quotes that are pricing higher than actually what they're online. With the group quotes though, you are getting a little bit more extra. You're getting your seat selection, you're getting private transfers, you're getting, oh, I should know this all. You're getting optional excursions like destination credits. So basically you are getting a little bit more than what you normally be getting if you were to book on your own.
So did you, what was, so you, like we were saying like the book for something for February. You would book it now, just put a deposit, and then just pay.
Yeah.
What is our deposit? Is the deposit half or is it?
Deposit is $150
Okay.
for groups, $250 for individual. Yeah. Yeah. So if you're doing, say, if you have 10 adults ready to go, it's just $150 a person, and then final payments due 45 days before departure. So if you book a year and a half in advance, you have that year and a half to pay the rest of your trip off. Yeah, it's a good option for people.
If that office staff wanted to do something like that as a group trip.
Yeah.
Then I think you just have to figure out what's the total cost, who's gonna go, and then you can set up payroll deduction, I think, if they wanted to do that. I would support that. So I think it's good, like, it's good to travel.
Yeah.
Especially at certain times of the
Just
year.
shut the band office for.
Everybody has to take their.
We have to take, we have to get, volunteers to stay.
Yeah.
Well, when you say that, I'll make sure you include me on that side.
And another thing I did want to bring up too, I know, travel can be daunting. If you guys would feel comfortable having me even accompany you on these trips, to act as like a travel liaison. So it would basically be a work trip for me. I'd go down there and make sure everyone's taken care of. Anything that you would need, you would come to me. Reservations for restaurants, instead of having to wait in line to do it yourself, I would be there to take care of all that. Excursions, I could be there to take care of. Any kind of issues with your rooms, take care of. It's just something I'd like to throw out there too. It doesn't cost anything extra for you guys to have me come along. I would just give you the peace of mind knowing that you could be down there and not have to worry about anything. So
I, just following up with Darren's suggestion.
Yeah.
I'm human resources, so I think we'll connect you and I,
for sure.
and then we'll get something going, and then we can make a presentation to
Yeah.
the council, and then we can get the ball rolling.
Absolutely.
Who wants to work or something.
Yeah, the more the merrier. It's always so good to travel in a group. Even if you don't like the people you're traveling with, it's still, you don't have to be like everyone. I know I've traveled in big groups before. My wedding was in Mexico. We had 35 people go. I didn't like a lot of them, so they were my husbands or whatever. But you can choose to hang out with whoever you want. You can choose with,
Somebody could have a wedding destination.
highly recommend wedding destination.
I wonder who.
No, there's so many opportunities down there.
Yeah, different excursions.
Yes, excursions are amazing. Yeah, for sure.
Or how renewal.
Mm.
How renewal.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it 10 years already?
Or divorces.
Yeah. I'm getting divorced first.
There's actually divorce parties that go down
Well,
there.
that's what I said,
Yeah.
That's what's celebrating.
There's quite a bit of questions online about Vegas. I'm reading through a bunch of them, but it's basically they're asking that about cruises as well.
Yep.
What's a rough estimate about how much a cruise would cost, how much it would cost to go to Vegas?
It depends. Like I looked at Vegas, say I was doing a quote for Regina out of Vegas for May, April. They wanted to go May long, and it was $1,500 a person. But 2 weeks after, it went down to $500 a person. So it varies. It depends if there's stuff going on in the city on a weekend, brings the price up. If there's nothing going on, prices go lower. Vegas, it's always changing. I could look right now and I could give you a whole bunch of different prices. It depends on when, depends on if the flights are direct. Direct flights do cost more than connecting flights. because you do pay for that convenience.
Do you book out of the States too?
Legion,
Legion?
yes, out of Minot. I can book.
Out of my house?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I have.
I don't know why we always think of Grand Forks.
Grand
We're
Forks,
gonna fly out and yet we could go straight
A
down.
Brandon.
It's closer.
Yeah, Grand Forks too. Yeah, like, and I can book anywhere. A lot of people do think it's cheaper to fly from the States. It's not.
No?
I've compared packages with WestJet, packages from, suppliers from the States. By the time you factor in the exchange rate, a lot of them, like, you have to pay your baggage, which is an American. Some of them charge for your carry-on. Sometimes you'll pay more in baggage charges than you will for your actual airfare, which is ridiculous.
That's like Allegiant, right?
That's exactly who I'm referring to. It's like, wow, my airfare was $200, but I'm paying $400 in baggage fees. Yeah, so, sometimes, and then, WestJet might offer the exact same thing, $100 more, but you're leaving from Canada. You don't have to worry about paying the American charges or anything like that, so.
And I think our experience in going to Vegas, like we've gone in the summer, right? Where it was cheaper because it's so hot there.
Yeah,
It's crazy hot in the summer, so it's cheaper to go.
Yeah.
It's cheaper to travel to go to Vegas Monday to Thursday.
Yeah.
Because it's
During the
middle of
week.
Yeah.
The prices go way
Yeah.
up. higher.
Thursday to Sunday, prices go way up because the weekend, of course, like Chris was saying, Monday to Thursday, usually Sunday to Thursday, they're good. Yeah, they're good. Prices will go up on the weekends though. Vegas, you also have to remember there always are resort fees.
Yeah.
So, and that's not included in what you pay for your flights and your hotel.
And they went up.
They have gone up, and there are resorts that hadn't been charging that have started charging. So basically any resort in Vegas that you're gonna stay on Fremont or on the Strip, you're gonna be charged $44 to $50 per night per room. So just to remember that will be an extra expense. Some of the casinos, resorts have been putting a hold on the credit cards too. So if you're staying, say, for 5 nights, they're gonna hold like almost a damage deposit on your card.
Yeah, actually they did that for us last year.
So it's always good to know, just so there's no surprises. So say you go to take money out or you go to pay for supper or something and you're like, oh no, like it's not working. But then you realize the resort has put a hold on the funds on that card. So you're not able to access them until you check out, until they release those funds. So it is kind of a pain, but I guess it's just in Vegas, they have so many problems with their rooms being trashed. Just because people don't care, right? They don't, it's Vegas. But they are trying to recover some of that cost now and trying to make it so that they're not having that happen. So, when you do have to put that kind of money down as a hold, it makes you treat your room a little bit nicer than say before. You don't want to pay that money. So
how about for a cruise, what would be like a price range?
see, cruises are all over the map right now. Depending on if there's specials, promotions, we do go through wave season. Like, what did I price out last? I'm just gonna see if I can bring it up here. I just did a cruise quote actually. Airfare is what is the kicker with cruises. So sometimes, like I said, even with that, you can pay, you can get an incredible price for a cruise. Say, oh man, I got a week cruise to the Caribbean for $700. But then you're like, okay, well, that doesn't include the drink package. So it's another $300. That doesn't include the prepaid mandatory gratuities, which is another $140. That doesn't include the airfare.
To Miami, right?
Yeah. Or wherever, Galveston, Texas, New Orleans, Tampa, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Like there's a couple different, but you do have to get yourself there. Some of the cruise lines do offer airfare included, but yeah, it does bring your prices up considerably. I just did a cruise quote to Alaska.
I was just gonna say, you do Alaska?
I do. Yeah, I've sent a few people there over the years.
In January.
In January.
We're not there.
You're a big party.
Wouldn't even go up on?
Cruise season usually will run from May to September. Best times, best prices usually are May and September. Yeah.
Or if it goes on paper, not the ocean goes on.
How can I get Christine's contact information on to the people on here? Online.
Was good. Take a picture of it and post it.
Yeah?
Posted in the comments.
Oh, okay.
So, for example, here I have a 7-night Alaskan cruise from Vancouver to Vancouver. So it goes in through the inside passage and it comes back through the outside passage. Inside cabin, so this is like your cheapest inside. It's not no view or nothing. It's just your room. For 2 people, came out to $1,840.24. So each person would be $920.12 for a 7-night Alaskan cruise out of Vancouver. Now, when you add your airfare, airfare works out to $822.94 per person. So you're looking at it like it's only like $30 less than your actual cruise. So your 7-night cruise basically is almost the same as your airfare to get from this would have been from Toronto to Vancouver. So price per person with the air would come out to about $1,803, and that's from Toronto to Vancouver and 7 nights on your cruise.
And then you gotta add everything else on.
Yes, that's just bare boned. That's Holland America has some really good Alaskan cruises. That's who I've sent. It's more, they're very nice cruise. I've sent people here many times. They have enough that's called All In. It's where it includes your drink package, your Wi-Fi, some specialty dining, and gives you onboard credit too. They're the most popular, are the Alaskan, New Holland, and the Princess.
And they all have casinos on.
They do. Yeah, they do. Most cruise ships will.
So what do they do for people that smoke, that have smoking areas?
Yes, yeah, you'll have smoking decks on the cruise ship where you just go to the doors and have, They don't recommend smoking off your balconies. So they do, if you do get caught smoking on a balcony, they will probably ask you to leave or fine you. Yeah, you don't want that. So yeah, definitely, do just go into the smoking areas. I'm bad for that too. I wake up in the middle of the night and smoke, so. Yeah, I might just be one of those ones smoking on my balcony at 3 a.m. Because I'm terrible for that. But yeah, cruising, they will offer you that place to. They're not going to say, oh, you have to quit smoking for 7 days, because who would want to do that? It'd be terrible. Worst cruise ever. But you guys can take a look if there's any other questions, Crystal.
I don't see, I'm just putting here,
Vegas, if people want to get in touch with me, they're more than welcome. Vegas, it's a great time to go to Vegas right now, right, especially up until like say June. It's not too hot yet. Pools are just starting to open. So of course pools are closed for the winter season because it's cold. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Vegas in January.
No.
It's not nice. It's not. You're wearing a jacket. It's not the most.
December.
December's not nice.
I was there Christmas.
Not my favorite. I like the warmer. I'm like May. I would prefer to go where it's a little bit warmer. Like it.
We went that one
We
time,
went
it
to
was
May 31st, June 1st.
Yeah.
It was nice.
And it was just
October's good.
perfect.
Yeah.
It was, the weather was perfect. It wasn't too hot
Yeah.
and it wasn't cold.
Yeah. Which is good for Vegas, but.
But I know last week, a friend of mine
So when we were there in March,
it was just a bad day. But she said the pool was nice.
Yeah.
So obviously it's not hot enough.
They think we're crazy when we go down there. Like anyone that works in Vegas and lives in Vegas, they're like, "Why are you guys even in the pool?" And we're like, "Yay!"
Our kids were in the pool that night in March.
Yeah, we went in January the one time. Circus actually has a pool that's open year round outside. And
We've
we
been at that pool.
only ones, is that right? Yeah.
When my kids were young.
Yeah. Oh, it's like 2023, I think, when we went there. It was, we were the only ones in the pool. It's like
I think that's too.
two crazy Canadians just hanging out in the pool. Florida was another one. We went to Florida. You have to remember too, it's cool. December, January, it's cooler than what you would think for Florida. You think Florida warm, sunny, but it does get cool. they have lizards falling off trees because they freeze in the trees and then they come back to life. It's actually quite cool. But they actually close, Disney closes their water slide compounds, like Volcano Bay. We had tickets to that and we didn't even get to go. It's 22 above that day and they had the pools closed and the water slides. And they were wearing big jackets, parkas, and you thought we were absolutely crazy. But 22 above, that's perfect. I can swim in that.
What about do you do, because I've always wanted to do this, is go like on a wine, like to Santa Barbara area where they have the winery, the vineyards, do you do
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, you can definitely,
things like that?
yeah, oh yeah, wine tours are quite popular. I don't have any of the American tours.
Or you do a Soyuz, is that where most of them are?
By San Francisco, Paso Robles, there is, what did I have, why can't I think of the name of it? Sonoma Wine Country in California. There are tours down there.
Okay.
Yeah, they're really, really good tours. Like I said, I don't have any of the American tours, most of mine are just Europe, but yeah, I would highly recommend that, like, yeah, in California.
I've driven to a couple of them. Not me driving as a passenger. But I've always wondered what the actual tours would be like.
Yeah, they're actually quite good, and there's lots. Like, if you get an area where there's like a high concentration of wineries, you can spend all day.
Los Alamos, that's where we were.
Okay. Yeah. Is that California?
Yeah, just outside of Santa Barbara. And then they have a little wine country there.
Yeah, if you go up higher though, like towards, in between Los Angeles and San Francisco is some really, really good wine.
Yeah.
And then Sonoma is just, kind of north of San Francisco, and apparently they have the best wines. Yeah. But yeah, anything is possible, like just keep that in mind, anything is possible in the world of travel. Like, you think it, you can dream it, you can make it happen. It can be done. It might be a little bit more complicated, but you know, you can do it for sure.
Got any questions?
I don't think there's any. Would you need a passport to fly from Lima?
No,
Oh, no, right?
No, that's
What?
Not a status card.
you have to have a
Oh, you
status
can
card.
cross the border.
With a status?
Yes, as long, you can fly in the States as long as you have an like you have a photo ID status.
Even on
card.
license.
Yeah.
So people can cross the border with their status.
Yes.
jump on a plane.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
you just can't cross the international borders without the passport.
Yeah.
Yeah, on a plane.
So when you fly from the, like, Grand Forks to Vegas, you don't need a passport?
No.
You can just fly.
A lot of times that's why we do. fly
And that's
from
why we did,
airports,
because
not all of our people have it.
And that's when we went to New York, that's why we flew from the States, because we couldn't get a passport in time. So we went to the States.
Yeah, you can fly in America without your passport, or domestically in the States, as
In
long
the
as you
States.
have your photo ID
Yeah.
and everything like that, you're good to go.
Why I had asked you before about the Mexico one, one of my girlfriends, her son went to Mexico without a passport. And that was probably about, maybe 10 years ago.
Maybe he might have got away with it 10 years ago, but anytime you get on a plane and you're going internationally, you're gonna need that passport.
That's what I figured. Yeah, I thought maybe it might have changed.
Things have changed. Well, if you look at even just the rules between going across the border, right, it's like, they've changed in the last 5 or 6 years even. So, yeah, travel, it's constantly changing, and it's,
I never want to take chances anyways, whenever I go anywhere.
I know.
Well, better make sure you have exactly all the right documents that you travel.
Yeah. It's better to have too many documents than not have enough for the proper ones, so.
I think that's it. And there's no other questions online. So anybody else got questions?
When are we going?
I feel this was very informative.
Oh, I'm
And
glad.
I feel safe.
I'm glad, I'm so glad, like, I wasn't knowing what to expect, but, I like this, it's a small group of people, and I felt like I've been able to connect with you guys a little bit, and I hope you feel comfortable.
Definitely.
Yeah, with what I'm saying and me in general. And yeah,
There's been about 40-ish people online too.
good,
Off and on.
fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah, and,
Good one.
so,
What about for travel insurance? Do you take care of that or do we get that on
Yes,
our?
travel insurance, so as a travel agent, I do have the opportunity, to go and get my certificate in order to sell insurance. I've chosen not to, just because I am not an insurance agent. My profession is a travel agent. I specialize in travel. I specialize in knowing destinations, knowing the ins and outs of destinations. I don't specialize in insurance.
What would you recommend though?
For insurance,
Yeah.
Manulife is good.
Okay.
Yeah, Manulife, it's called cancel for any reason, is a really good option. Allianz has some options too that are very, very good. Their prices are a little bit higher than Manulife. And CAA, yeah, is also another good one. A Blue Cross is good too.
if you pay into benefits here, you have your travel card, right? That one, that's good for traveling?
Benefit, you'd have to check
Oh,
which
those are
benefits,
benefits,
yeah.
or,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
These are different.
Oh, the
for
different
travel.
benefits, sorry, yeah.
Like I know some companies, if you work for some companies and you have medical or any kind of benefits like that, some will include.
Thankfully, like
Travel.
travel insurance on our manually.
Yeah, I would definitely look into it.
You wanna keep, and if we do, you wanna make sure you have all that information.
Yeah.
You can get it on your credit card as well, right?
Yes.
Because we have a travel credit card. It's called World Elite, so it covers everything.
Yeah. Yeah, is that that's the WestJet one? Or Avion?
No, it's just through
Do you
Where's
take
our
travel
Bank of
points?
Montreal, World
like
Elite.
Avion?
No, I can book with WestJet points. I can deal with all the WestJet, but when it comes to credit card points, unfortunately, I can't. Most of those times they want you to call in to the credit card company and they'll actually do that booking for you. In the past, they'd allow the agent to do the booking and then the client or the customer would phone the credit card company and just get them to put the points on to the booking. But yeah, it's changed in the last couple of years where
That would be the same like with air miles?
air miles I can do, but I would need access to the air miles account.
Because she has a lot of air miles.
Oh yeah, a lot of people do it, yeah. And they're nice to have, what air miles, cruises. When you want to go on a cruise, you use your air miles to pay for your airfare. A lot of people do that, and then that's one less expense.
Yeah.
Gets you to where you're going to your cruise, and you don't have to worry about paying that a little bit extra. Whereas an all-inclusive, you can't really use your air miles for something like that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
It's more for air.
yes, yeah.
Gotcha.
With WestJet though, I can use rewards points, travel bank credits for vacation packages or airfare. So it's a little bit more flexible. Yeah. Air miles though is just, strictly. Yeah. So many rewards companies out there now and everyone is so different. So yeah, it's definitely gotta keep track of all of them. But yeah, credit card companies, I stay away from those points, yeah.
We just got a lot of thank yous online, a lot of thank yous for sharing information, good information.
Perfect. No, I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to me. And like I said, my card's here. I am on Facebook.
All of our cards are on.
I'm on Facebook under Christine Drotar Trevello Travel. So if you guys want to like and follow me there, I do post a lot of deals from Saskatchewan and Manitoba. And you can message me either on my Facebook or my text message to my phone. So either or.
Yeah, so all the cards are set up here, and we have door prizes.
No, I guess we gotta do that too, eh?
Yeah, thanks. We'll do that, I guess. Okay, so everybody online is included in it too, and they have to, so when I pull a name and I know it's online, I let the online people know that they have to be present online to win. So if I pull their name, we're gonna see if they're online before we announce. So it's fair, because we all sat through, right?
Yeah.
And online, you can go off and on. So Christine brought us two door prizes, and then we have trip for two.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have,
Jamaica.
some Tim Hortons $25 cards. So we will do those.
I'll just kind of go through, the Jamaica Bank has a
Oh,
kind of a cute little as well as some love, a Jamaica hockey puck. And $25 MasterCard gift card, a passport cover,
Nice.
and a notebook and a pen. And then this one here has an organizer, more travel stuff, passport. And then this one has the $100 MasterCard.
Oh, nice.
Those were
Good
the fun things that we love doing was buying all those little things to take with you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm so.
Go to all the trainings that we have.
Little travel size, everything.
Yeah.
So for those who are listening online right now, I posted earlier that, everybody went on and let me know that they were there, so I wrote all of your names. I tried to put check marks beside everybody's name that I wrote down, but the list just kept going that I couldn't press like on everybody, and then it would disappear I don't know, my nails were getting in the way and everything, but I got everybody that was in the live that said I'm here. So, and I also put a message there saying that you do have to be present online right now to win. So if we pick a name and it's somebody here, we'll say it right away. But if not, we'll look online. Is there a way, Grant, we can look online to see if they're there? Pardon me? Yeah. So we'll check online to see if you're there, and then we'll announce. So yeah. So everybody's names are in the box. We'll do the gift cards first, the $25 gift cards. Then we'll do Christine's awesome prizes last. Who wants to pick? You want to pick either? Good luck.
Come on now.
Oh, this is funny. She's here. I totally forgot. I was having a brain fart when I was trying to write your name, and I'm like, Cynthia's mom. So Cynthia's mom. Laura to get more fun. And I'm like, so you know. So here's Norma's. So the next one, okay, Christine, pick one. Let's see. Okay, this one's online, so we'll check it to see if they're online. Shaking a little bit. Are we able to tell?
Just ask them to look at,
Okay, yeah, maybe you can just write their name.
just say out loud and ask, comment.
Okay. Caitlin Cullen, if you're online, can you say that you're here? Caitlin Cullen. Yeah. We'll just wait a couple of seconds. If there's no response from Caitlin Cullen, we're going to move on and draw another name.
No, everybody's saying I'm here, but it's not here.
So Caitlin Cullen, yeah. Okay, you have to be present online in order to win. No? Okay, time's up. We're gonna draw another name. Okay, so this is online again. Eugene Raymond McKay. I think this name was with Rainbow. Rainbow posted a few names. What's that?
Rainbow's brother.
Is that Rainbow's brother? So Rainbow is your brother online?
Same here.
Okay. Say here if Eugene Raymond McKay is here.
Have you ever sent anybody to
No.
church?
It's expensive.
It is, yeah.
Okay.
And Antigua is another one that was, is really, a lot of people have been interested.
Okay, we just need for Eugene Raymond McKay to say he's here. If not, we're gonna draw another name.
Because, you know, the ones who's trying to shop in front of these islands and say that for, you know,
Okay, we're gonna draw another name.
They couldn't find a week. The fishermen, they couldn't find a week.
Okay, another online name, Donna Campbell. Donna Campbell, if you're online, can you let us know you're online?
They'll cut off. Yeah, with the fishermen, yeah, but they couldn't find a week.
Okay. And then Eugene responded?
And then
Donna Campbell, okay, we're gonna give to Eugene because it took him a few minutes to get back to us. Oh. There might be a connection issue, so we're gonna take that into consideration. There might be a delay, there might be a connection,
Yeah,
so,
that's how I figured.
yeah. So we're gonna give these ones to Eugene and to Donna.
Highlights the morning.
Eugene and Donna, if you can, I'll have to contact you through Messenger. And, I'll mail these out to you or get them out to you. They're $25 Tim Horton gift cards. Okay, one more Tim Horton gift card. Oh, did I throw her back in?
Was that name picked already?
Oh, I must have wrote her twice. Okay. Oh, Rebecca. Come on. Rebecca, are you online? Rebecca Sens. No, Rebecca? Okay, we're gonna close that. Oh, Emily. Emily's here.
There was some Kimmy's more.
There you go. Thank you. All right, now for Christine's two bags. Ooh, these are awesome prizes. What's that? Grand prizes, yeah.
The makeup on.
Oh, Joseph Janai. Joseph Janai, is he online?
You were 1 minute. Here? Okay. Yeah, so he's there. Okay, Joseph, we got your prize. That's this, I forget what's in the bag, but it's this bag. Can you see it? Yeah?
Yeah.
And, we'll get it to you. Where is Joseph? Does anybody know here? Oh, he's in Capital? Okay, Joseph, I'll find you and then I'll come bring it to you.
Yes. One more. Sonia Nevenak.
Oh, yeah.
Who's Sonia Nevenak? Sonia Nevenak?
Yeah, I remember that part as well, yeah.
Joseph, thank you.
You're welcome.
Sonia.
Here.
You said here?
No.
Oh, here. Okay, yeah. Sonia, if you're here, say here, please. We'll give a couple more seconds and we'll redraw. Redraw in a couple more seconds if we don't get a hear from Sonia Nevenak.
That's the world again.
Okay, I don't see anything, we're gonna go one more. Danita! Danita's got the.
Give her 1 minute.
Well, thank you, everybody that came, and thank you for being interested.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me again. I really enjoyed doing this meeting with you all. It's been fantastic, and I hope to hear from some of you, for sure.
I think you just got some comments.
Yeah, I think so too.
I hope so, yeah.
Thank you. I do appreciate that, you guys.
And how about for these, or these for?
These I'm gonna leave here.
Okay.
Yeah, so you guys have the chance to look and browse, or, if people want to pick up, I do have, like I said, there's not much. I do have a little bit more things than other things, but, if you guys want to share them around, that's absolutely, up to you.
Okay, so all the draws are done. For everybody that came online to join us, thank you for joining us. And I guess that's it. We can stop the online now. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
I like the idea of the group